What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Thanks to a ton of Yu-Gi-Tubers opening Synchro Storm in partnership with Konami, we have seen the full set spoiler in every card in this set. Now, the unsponsorable by Konami channel is sponsored by Tier 0. You can use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and support the channel directly on the cards you'd already be buying. And I do think Synchro Storm is a very good set to go ahead and keep sealed. And every single Duelist pack that has had a meta impact has been ripped open in mass. While this is Legendary Duelist and no Legendary Duelist has failed, remember, starting with Rage of Ra, they went back to 3 Duelist instead of 5, but they're using that branding. But looking at all Duelist pack ever that have a meta impact, they get ripped open a lot and become pretty scarce. And with this set, you have 3 really good decks between Speedroids, Lyrilusk, and then we get into the Dave Fleur, which is going to be splashed as a Synchro into many different decks, and surprise, Baroness is ultra rare. The Ghost Rare is okay. Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. A lot of people are waiting to see the Ghost Rare to decide if they were going to jump on this set or not, and it goes along with Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. I would rather it be this than the alter art of Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. They did the inverse Ghost Rare reprint of it in the OCG, and I'm a fan of this choice over that. I would have liked it to be alter art Stardust or something wild and out there, but with this choice, I respect it overall, and I think it's middle of the road. I don't think it's going to add too much crazy value to the set as people chase that down. Rather, Baroness and the Lyrilusk that were actually peeking in as Rogue with Tri-Brigade at first until we got Kid and people started to use that more as a centralized engine. I think that is actually a pretty good selling point. And there is waifu tax on a lot of this too. And then Speedroids had quite a bit missing from this set list, where Lyrilusk, they got all the freaking love in the world, pretty much everything in here, so a lot of that won't get expensive. But we do see High Speedroid Rubber Band Shooter missing. It's still only about $1 to $2 right now. I remember this getting bought out and bubbling up a little to 2 to 3 on the initial announcement of Speedroids. And we're also missing High Speedroid Hagoita, which only has 1 printing as a rare out of Bosch. Bosch did get rewaved unlimited. I'd still go with first edition copies if I were you, but this is using the double Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon combo, if I recall. Then Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon himself is missing from this list, weird enough. We do have Clear Wing and we have Crystal Clear, and we're missing Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. So this has been bubbling up and low on quantities. I would get yours sooner than later using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra to support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. But if I was out hunting today with big bucks, I would be going in on a sealed case of this. Tier 0 ships internationally, and again, code What'sGood5 for 5% off. Supports the channel directly, so I am invested in you using that. But my thoughts with this set are that it's been heavily slept on up till this point, yet it's still selling out of so many places because it got pushed back first, and people were like, okay, I don't have to worry about this till January. Then it got pulled back forward, and then we're dealing with waves and those kinds of things. I do think this will be overly slept on, and Baroness is going to be a lot more money than people think she will be. The Structure Deck Cyber Strike has so many people giving different social we live in a society commentaries on this thing. Oh, it should be $10, but look at it, look at the greed, look at people spending their money. I agree, it's ridiculous how people are buying infinite impermanences, and Daily does have them up a little cheaper. I'd still hold off, even though you can use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly. But what I would take advantage of here is with a fan favorite archetype, thanks to Imperm, a lot of the other cards that people are looking forward to and spending much more money on TCG player early are up here for all under $1 for the most part, besides Cyber Dragon the Hers. And Cyber Dragon the Hers, I mean, it does already have the 2 printings. It comes holographic once again here, but I feel like the rest of the set is so bottomed out and people are looking away. Like, every printing of Machine Dupe comes out cheap and then skyrockets. So this is kind of your chance to look around, look at what people are devaluing thanks to Imperm and go for. And then if you're really after Imperm, I might go hunt down MSRP products here or there, but it is in their best sellers. Of course it is. When we go to best selling, it's the first one because people are nervous, they're shaking. I want to remind you, the first time it was not a short print. Last year in Gold Series, and I do get its Gold Rare, it started at $17 to $18 and stayed there for almost a year, and now it's only up a couple bucks from that. So while this is a super rare, out of the starter deck. So it's foiled, it's nicer, and the structure deck is going up. We've seen nothing but it go down. It's all pre-salers, so you have that lower competition. Wait for competition on Imperm, in my opinion, but if you gotta have it now, here's one of the cheapest prices, and you can knock it down even cheaper. The 2021 Megatins. Oh, we're headed towards week 2. What did I say on my video? Crossout Designator around $72. Look at that market price. Market Man sometimes maybe does have time-traveling info brokers, except I was wrong on talents. I thought it would be 32 to 33. Here it is around 40. We do see the Dogmatica engine really hanging up in price, but Zeus is where I called it at about $12. The competition heating up, one of in the extract, and so much going on here. But as we've said time and time again, oh, look around the market, what goes with the Megatins. And yo, thanks for subscribing to the channel, League Player. But seriously, when we look at the Megatins, so many players suddenly have access to cards, and they start grabbing other places for other cards. Like, we have Downer Magician for Zeus bubbling up once again. I'm actually tempted to go and do something with mine. I have a thick stack of Downer Magicians back from when I vended. They used to be like $2, and here we see the lowest are now towards $30, and other versions even more because people don't want gold rares. I think gold looks nice on Xyz personally. And then Rescue Cat is going for the Tri-Brigade, the engine, and you see every copy where they were 9 to 10s, now almost doubling that price towards 18 to 20s, and just so few quantities. The Duelist Saga one going so nuts that the market price is 30, and people are actually spending this money on it. So, again, if you looked around when the Megatins were coming out, seeing what other people were going to go for as they completed their decks or engines, and you were even part of a scramble, you got in pretty good versus what a lot of people are paying on cards outside the 10s and the competition on the 10s, even through just Wave 1 ramping up. Wave 2 should be on our doorsteps around November. It'll be interesting seeing that wave crash into these already cooling prices and what will happen. It doesn't look like deep interested pockets have tried to go and do anything dirty to these singles. We have almost 200 listers on Crossout Designator. Maybe that's just such a deterrent from these targeted forced buyouts. But Talents by far, without its reprint in a special edition, unlimited edition, I should say, instead of reprint, without any coolant before and so many people looking forward to 3-ofs of it, it has stayed in the top demand of the 10s besides the original card to the 10s Crossout Designator. But yeah, just these crazy buyouts happening. Phantom Knights, we've talked about Levier multiple times, keeps getting targeted, keeps staying really low in quantities, and keeps going up in price. As a lot of people are going to be playing this board that makes Dagda, Scythe, pop it with the new Destiny hero. You're able to go crazy, have an F-Zero on the board too. People are going after F-Zero on top of it, but Levier, the combo extender, it's really getting targeted right now. We see Pot of Prosperity is back up. We showed after the TCG bonus bucks that it fell back to 103, 104, and here we see the lowest listing is at 111-ish, and it quickly starts to go up from there. I think with this card, people have realized more, oh, this probably isn't till that next world premiere set if it gets a reprint like Extra, if not all the way till the 2022 Megatins, because they are so thirsty for value in there. And it feels like the March reprint set is pulling back from actually being more of a reprint set to a, oh, you get a couple upgrades and you get this new structure deck split up. Enjoy your Utopia cards, maybe. Who knows how that's going to go with Ghosts from the Trash too. But a lot of people going on this. I did say I could see this being 120 pretty easily, but that's no reason to just jump on it suddenly, because think about it. If you jump from 111 to 120, you have a 13% seller fee on online structures. Yeah, it's not worth it to jump on just because it's going to rise a couple bucks. Play test with it. Make sure it's right for your decks or right for you to have access to, and then decide to buy it, because it's not that much of a percentage once it goes up for that playset from here if you see it head towards 120. Mystic Fighters, the set that really keeps on giving the eternal rivals on Market Watch. Dragon Maid has been up here in price, but I'm seeing the Prime Mathmech and Mathmechs continue to bubble up and come back in price after their coolants, and the Generator engine is something I played against last night, and I feel like it should be shouted out. Hey, Mardell's been targeted for so many buyouts, but Boss Stage was a short print in this very expensive side set and is one of the last things to not get reprinted here. Maybe we'll get gold letter rares or something wild with it, but this is a pretty cool engine that I feel like gets forgotten a lot, and Boss Stage, it's a pretty cool card for such a cheap price for a short print for an old set that has gone up in price. And then this, I guess it's a super poly target. I see the collector rare getting bought out a lot. It takes any 2 warriors, if I recall. Yeah, 2 warrior monsters with different attributes, so not any 2. But the collector rare getting bought out and the ultra rare going up. Let me know if you know the reason for this. I'm not as privy to why this might be spiking. If you're ready for the Destiny hero as this to be an out with super poly, which you can use, I guess, with Predaplant, Verte, Anaconda. I'm not as on top of that one, and I like to do that. I don't like to make up a reason or go, oh, it's definitely this or that. I like to have the open conversation here on Market Watch, but you can see definitely collector rares, just so low listings now on F-Zero. And actually, the sealed has gone down a bit in price, which is nice if you've been hunting that sealed. But for the estimated value pulled, I think it's a lot better for you to go for the single still on King's Court, depending on what you're hunting. And one final note, I almost forgot, speaking of fusion cards, Greater Polymerization is pretty down there in listings versus what it used to be. And this keeps getting a lot more smoke in terms of people talking about, oh, this fusion came out. Oh, this would be so busted with Greater Poly. Greater Poly seems really good with this or that card, and with Blazing Dumpster Fire so thirsty for value, I could see this being kind of like Fusion Deployment, where it didn't get used a lot in the metagame, but got used a lot in casual play. Casual doesn't mean broke. It's a legacy of a fan favorite card, and it is pretty darn good, the armor this offers. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using 3 or more monsters from your hand, or field as fusion materials, and if you do gain these effects, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing. Not being destroyed by card effects with other natural built-in armor some fusions have ends up making it extremely hard to deal with that fusion monster. So keep that in mind, that people are eyeing this, and it is going down slowly in quantities. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. What are you doing if you haven't? Here back time and time again. Hit that button. Like the video if you enjoy the discussions. And I tried to give a good balance between, you know, the casual market and how it actually does go. The collector market here and there. But there's a lot of just repetitive buyouts. Oh, John, did you see this DR4 buyout? Yeah, DR4. Okay. Oh, did you see this retro pack buyout? Yeah, retro pack. It's just like the cyclical thing where it goes up, comes back down, goes up. But it is starting to get more notable with how much the collector market has cooled off the actual buyouts, so I might start covering those more. Let me know if you would enjoy seeing more peeps into the collector market. Since it has cooled down, the activity is more notable at this point.